Welcome back to the Travsessed podcast. We're your hosts, Kim and Aaron. We are healthcare travelers and the creators of Travsessed. Travsessed provides on-the-clock, off-the-clock resources for healthcare travelers. On the clock being our course Traveler School, off the clock being Travsessed Adventures, where we lead, host, and plan epic adventures around the world with like-minded healthcare workers. You can come, adventure, and have the time of your life with like-minded people. You can check it all out on imtravsessed.com. Without further ado, let's get into this week's show.
Speaking of Travsessed Adventures, this is the last call because this trip, the Patagonia, Travsessed Patagonia, the trip is going to be closing on the 15th, meaning that you won't be able to join the trip. And so there are a couple of spots left on that trip. So if you're on the fence, if it's something you're like, oh, I really want to go, but I'm not sure, this is the time. Make your move, put in your deposit, hold your spot, because that's a wrap. We don't usually have time limits on our trips, but because we have to lock in our sleeping arrangements for the trail, and there's like all this other stuff that's involved with like booking our spaces. So we have to have a cutoff to be able to get those permits and stuff. So
Yep.
December 15th, if you want to join us, it's going to be such an amazing trip. And if it's on your mind, if it's something you're thinking about, it's a great freaking Christmas present for yourself. And it's going to be an amazing adventure.
Yeah,
So
it's already shaping up. The group is absolutely, I'm so excited.
I know.
They're so amazing. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
It's a good mix of guys and girls this time.
I know.
Finally.
Well, so far, I think there's 2 guys. Or 3.
I think there's 3, and that's one more than we usually get.
Usually there's just like 1. Yeah. Because usually it's like a guy and a couple, but these are solo dudes, which I am all about. We need our men. Mm-hmm. So if you're a man listening, or a man listening.
If you're man listening?
Yeah. Or if your wife, if you're trying to talk your man into going, just like turn this up and play it over and over again. Come to Patagonia. You'll love it. Okay. That's it. Let's move on.
Perfect.
Okay.
Flight crew, please prepare for departure.
So, we are going to talk about our spontaneous weekend away in Charlotte.
Yeah, it was interesting how it came about.
Yeah, so can I tell the story?
But I really like it. Like, it's something that, we'll get into. I guess I was just saying, like, it's something that we don't ever do.
Yeah, like not being
spontaneous. And I never realized. I've always felt like we were spontaneous.
Can you take that, not take it back, but like roll that back for a second? Because I was thinking about that, because I said, do you think like we're spontaneous? Like after we decided to just go, and you're like, no, I don't think we are. I think we used to be, but I don't think we are anymore. And I'm like, I don't think we are either, because we're big planners, right? And like, we like to plan things. We have our year planned out, especially trying to like plan out Travsessed adventure trips and contracts. And like, there's not that much room for like a lot of spontaneity when it comes to bigger things. So like, we are pretty planned, but then I was thinking like, are we, like, do you really think we're not spontaneous at all? Because I feel like maybe we are in some, I don't know. I don't feel like we used to.
What I think has gotten confused is living a life as a healthcare traveler for 11 years seems extremely spontaneous. Meaning, we got back from Bali and we thought we were living in Florida until February, until we went on the next Bali trip. And then within a week, we were like, we should get a contract. And it was like, and then a week later, we're in West Virginia.
Yeah, I'd say we're pretty spontaneous.
That's pretty spontaneous, but it's extremely planned. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, that was a plan. We wanted to get a contract. We didn't know where we were going, but once we figured out where we were going, it was planned. But we know that, like, we went after a contract. We interviewed. This area sounds good. Like, we can find housing, blah, blah, blah. Like, let's go. We just learned how to do that so quickly but it is planned. It's not spontaneous. Two normal, everyday people, 9 to 5, been in their hometown forever. That seems spontaneous and crazy. But I don't know if we've just gone up in the spectrum of like what is spontaneous, because this weekend was the definition of spontaneous.
Well, I think too, we'll be like spontaneously be like, hey, like, do you want to go have dinner tonight or go get lunch? Yeah, because what's spontaneous? Like, what are you being spontaneous with? Like, it doesn't always have to be something huge. It has to be like, are you someone who kind of just will on a whim be like, let's switch gears, or like, right? Because like, what are you trying to be spontaneous with?
I guess, yes, you're right. Spontaneous doesn't have to be big, but I also think that like the bigger things are the things worth talking about versus like going to lunch or going to dinner. Like, you have to eat, you know? So like that doesn't feel, it doesn't give me enough rumbles to call it spontaneous. But I guess in that aspect where you and I were supposed to be doing something, I mean, we've nicknamed that Poogie Days.
Yeah, we blow off what we're supposed to do and like go have like a fun lunch and sit outside and have espresso martinis and talk. I mean, I guess like, what do you, I think
we're spontaneous when we travel.
Yeah, because I actually really was
like
thinking about this. I don't think that there's a right or wrong answer. I was just really trying to think about, are we spontaneous or not? And I do think that we're very, I like a plan, and I like, even when we're traveling, like I like to be like, cool, like these are things I know we want to do. These are some restaurants. This is like a plan for like what we want to experience. Because for me, I don't want to just show up somewhere and like figure it out. Like, or like I like to know cool things to do or what we would want to do, but then leaving it open for spontaneity if like something else comes up, or we want to go here, we want to go there. But I guess like what I'm saying is I feel like naturally we're definitely more planners, but I think that we leave room for spontaneity, but I wouldn't say that's our normal because of the nature of just like our life. Like, I don't know, do you think a lot of people our age and are just spontaneous? But I guess I don't even know what that word means. Like, you just kind of pick up and go. Like, I think if you have responsibilities and different things, you can't just like pick up your life and like go somewhere.
No.
Like, what's the definition to you?
What? Yeah.
Right?
I guess the definition to me, I guess, is just like, if we were, you know, on New Year's Day, we're going to go on a trip. Or like, you know, like being that it's December. Like, that's not spontaneous, right? Remember I had what was I calling it? The spontaneous challenge, where I was like calling my friends, all of them, to see if they would jump on a plane the next day and come visit me in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that's how I'd leave the voicemail. I was like, spontaneous challenge. If you accept, I'll pay $100 of your ticket. Like, you know, whatever. Like, just to see if anybody would literally go to the airport the next morning. Like, that's spontaneous. Mm-hmm. Like, I had something planned, but screw it. This sounds awesome. I'm going.
Right.
That's spontaneous to me.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, I would love to be more spontaneous. I wish that we had more. I think it comes down to your resources, right? Like, obviously, if you know, and it's a little bit different for us because a lot of times, especially in a contract, weekends, you know, we're working on Travsessed things because that's really the only time you have off days. So like, put that aside, because that's also something that we have to always play with. Like, oh, we should be working, we should be getting this done. But even if that wasn't the case and it was a weekend, then being spontaneous is awesome. Like, but that also requires money. If you're like, dude, you want to jump on a plane and just like go to Colorado for the weekend? Fuck yeah, I do. Like, that sounds awesome. Like, let's go. But that also requires you to be able to have the money to go and all of the things. So I would love to do more of that kind of stuff.
I think it's an actual interesting conversation that just spawned just now.
Yeah.
Because it's like, number one, we don't have baby. So we don't have Mimi.
Don't you dare.
Which we could not have gone last weekend if we had Mimi. So right there, that seals off a lot of spontaneity, because you have to plan. Where's she going? What are we doing?
Rover.
So
it's
funny. Like, sorry, stay with me on this, because I feel like it's like spinning and it's kind of big here. But like, I know that I've always wanted to work for myself because I love spontaneity. that whole thing of like, I gotta be at work from Monday to Friday, and like I go to lunch from 12 to 12:30, and like, no, like I like that spontaneous thing. But I do believe that like even running your own business is sometimes more work than like working in the hospital.
Fuck it, 100%.
The only thing is you just don't have somebody telling you when and where to be at certain times.
So you can be flexible.
You can't just, I mean, you and I have designed it to where we can work from our computer. So we could very easily get 3 hours of work done in an airport, which I love to do, go to a lounge, get some work done, and then fly and go somewhere, which is why I've always wanted to set up my life that way. But I do believe with like Mimi, that adds something in there that restricts us from being as spontaneous as we probably would like to be. On top of that, like you said, resources. Like, people aren't just going to buy a fucking plane ticket, like, to Airplane Beach, just on a drop of a hat, right? And, like, a hotel and all that. I mean, all the stuff that comes with it, right? Parking at the airport or Uber or whatever it is, food. That's an expense, right? But I do believe that it's something that I've always kind of wanted to teach healthcare travelers as well, is, like, the more you can restrict your life down to where you don't have like so many bills and you don't have so many obligations, and maybe you don't take all of your pets, all 4 of them on your travels with you. Maybe you like don't take a huge, all of your stuff in a camper, or not a camper, but like a U-Haul, or, what I'm saying? You restrict down as much as you can because it allows for the spontaneity of healthcare traveling, because even in between contracts, you can be spontaneous. You can go different places if you have less restrictions, less things that hold you back. And like, it not only allows for more money in your life and more freedom of time to be able to take more time off if you don't have as many bills, or more restrictions if you like have to be back because your dogs are being watched by somebody or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, you have the availability to be more spontaneous and make more money and have more freedom. And so that's the intentionality that people could have. And I think it just, for some reason, the word spontaneous really opened that up for me as like kind of a way that I've always wanted to design our lives.
I mean, yeah, of course. My dream is to like come home and you're like, pack your bags, we're going to the airport and we're going to Italy for 2 weeks or something. And I had no idea. And like, the car's waiting, the Uber's waiting, or surprise you with something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like one of my dreams. I would love to be able to do something like that, because yeah, that sounds great. I think though a lot of people do plan things out, especially trips, because we're adults and it's the nature of our life. Like, we have to plan around, we're taking 2 weeks off to go to Italy. Okay, well, are you getting off? Is that in between there's just so many moving parts. And I think most people probably, it is something more people want in their life. And obviously you don't have to get on a plane to Italy to be spontaneous. Spontaneity can just be like
a cabin in the woods.
Or you and I sitting here watching a movie and then we're like, fuck it. Like, I don't know. I was just thinking like, well, I guess it's like your different versions of spontaneity, but like, yeah, it doesn't have to be, I guess my point is it doesn't have to be something huge and dramatic. It doesn't have to just be about traveling. It can just be about doing something out of your normal that maybe you weren't thinking about doing. And I think a lot of single people too, like if you're a traveler and you're just like at home watching a TV and like a friend calls and says like, hey, like some of us are going to go have dinner tonight. And you're like in your jammies kind of like, oh, I don't know. Do I really? And you're like, screw it. I'm going to get ready and I'm going to go out. Like, I feel like that's kind of spontaneous.
Extremely.
Yeah.
Especially if you had something you wanted to do, and sleeping on the couch and watching a movie and eating popcorn all night, which sounds fantastic. It
sounds
right
like
now.
a dream.
I know.
Okay, so that kind of gets into like how this whole thing even got started, because that was our plan, quote unquote, to stay home last weekend. Because the weekend before we were in Atlanta, and we were like, let's just have a chill weekend. Let's relax. Weekend. Yeah, it's just been like every weekend since we've been in West Virginia, we've been doing something. And so like, we don't want to do anything. Like you were like, I want a day. I just want to like sit butt naked on the couch and like have you serve me cherries.
Never sat butt naked on the couch.
Or you're like, I don't want to leave the couch. I want to take a nap. I want to sleep in. I want to watch football or watch a movie. Like, I just don't want to have anything. I want to have one of those like lazy days where you don't have to think or do anything or leave the house if you don't want to, right? Like that was the plan. And I'm like, that sounds amazing. So Saturday, that's the plan. And then I was on the old Instagram and I was talking to this other travel friend, and she was like, are you guys heading to Charlotte this weekend? And I was like, no. Is that for the FSU game? Because I'd heard you talk about it like a while ago, and it just like stood out to me.
I had literally talked about it that week. I said,
did you? Yeah, I thought
that week. I'm talking, you had this conversation on Thursday. I had said on Monday, like, it's kind of crazy how close the ACC championship game is to us.
Yeah, I don't think I was like, I think I was blocking you out. Like, I think you were like mumbling it under your breath, or I was just like not like fully like listening or engaging in the conversation. Because I remember you talking about it, but it wasn't like a full on convo, you know? And so I was like, no, or for the FSU thing. And she was like, yeah, it's the ACC championship, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, we're not going to go. And she's like, yeah, my boyfriend and I are flying in from Denver. And, she's like, it's a 4-hour drive. Like, that's so close. Like, you guys should go. And at first I was like, no, we're like going to be on the couch this weekend. We have plans, okay? Like, we're busy. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, well, I know, A, how much you love FSU, how much fun it would be going to a game with you, going to Charlotte. We've never been there before. And so I was like, well, it almost was like, okay, instead of just saying no, like normal, like, nope, we're not doing that. I started to kind of like think about, I'm like, could this work? And so I almost just like surprised you with the tickets.
Well, she also said that she saw the tickets were $60.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing. She was like, the tickets were cheap. She got a cheap hotel. So, because that was the other thing. I was like, I don't want to go and like, spend a bunch of money. Even though we did. Oh my God. We spent on food. Anyways, we'll get to that. Oh my gosh, and drinks. Those drinks were like $30 each. It's ridiculous, okay? We spent so much. We could have went to Italy for the week.
We literally bought a bottle every time.
It's like sickening, honestly, how much they charge. But anyways, we'll get to that. So I thought about maybe surprising you, but I just was conflicted because I'm like, if it's not that important to you, then I'm not going to like buy the tickets and make this a big thing. Because I kind of just wanted to stay home too. But I was also like, but that sounds fun. But I couldn't just make the decision on my own to surprise you because I just wasn't sure if it was the move or not. Because if you were like, nah, like that, I would rather just stay home. We'll make burgers. We'll watch the game at home and do our own thing. I just want to stay home this weekend. I didn't want to like surprise you with tickets and spend the money. So I went like back and forth. Then I like texted you and I was like, hey.
So she texted me. I've had, a very busy day. I go out for my 30-minute lunch break, and like 10 minutes into my lunch, I get a text that says, would you want to go to the ACC championship game this weekend? And I was just like, I thought she was fucking with me, like, honestly. And once she said that, all those thoughts of sitting on the couch just like went away.
Well, you were like, fuck yeah, like 20,000 explanation points. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right, I guess he wants to go. So then we were like going back and forth in the conversation because I was like, okay, do we really want to go? Like, I know we want to go, but just everything that's going to entail. And this was Thursday. We were going to leave the next day. So hello, talk about like spontaneous. Because we're like, this was like the afternoon, like Thursday night, you were getting ready to get off. We're like, we're going to have to like figure out all there things. I know nothing about Charlotte. And also, it was a money thing because it was going to be really expensive. Like, well, we knew we were going to spend a good amount of money because
we always spend money when you and I go out.
Yeah,
always.
Because also we love food, and we in West Virginia we have like no good restaurants or anything. So we're like, let's go and get all our foodie fixes in. So like we wanted to go to like a fun dinner on Friday, and then Saturday we would have like a fun lunch and then a dinner or the game. So like. It was a very like food, drink focused weekend, and we always spend a lot of money.
Food, drink, and football.
Yeah, food, drink, and football, and fun.
Yeah.
So we were just like going back and forth. Then also like we were gonna go to this place in here, Snowshoe, that has like sledding and tubing and stuff for Christmas. We're like, no, let's just stay back because like we really want to save the money. We're in like a saving money phase right now.
We didn't do anything for our 13-year wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
Literally played pickleball and got a charcuterie and wine and sat, which was actually fun.
Yeah, and we did a whole
played
episode on that.
games
You can go back and listen of like why we made that decision. But we decided not to, and like we were going to save money. So I'm like, okay, we're not going to do anything for anniversary or Christmas, but we're going to go spend shit ton of money just like go watch a football game. Like, fuck, like I don't know. Is this the move? So we went back and forth about it, and then you were like really wanting to go.
Well, I instantly like started looking at it and found out that like seats in a section that I would want to sit that were good seats were like $126. And I'm like, 60, 126, like for literally talking nosebleeds, like 500s in the very back to like section 119 in the end zone. Like it was perfect for like double the price. Yeah. But like 126 was still in retrospect of what that is, right? Like I thought it was a very good deal. If it would have been in 300s or 400s, there would have been no way I would have went. Plus I actually started to see that those tickets have been on sale, and to find two seats together was very difficult. So,
yeah. I mean, it's still expensive. And so that's like, I was like, kind of, I wanted to go and I knew it was going to be fun, but then I'm also like, it's kind of fucked up that we're going to go spend all this money for a football weekend, but like not do other things like that we wanted to do for that I think would be more fun, right? Because like I like football. And it was going to be fun, but like that's more of like your kind of a weekend, right? Like that means a lot to you, right? Going and watching the Knowles, and I love to watch a game with you, but I do it for you. Like I do enjoy watching it, and it's like I've gotten more into it, and it's fun, but it's not something I would just do on my own. It is definitely something for you. So that like came into kind of the conversation.
oh yeah, it did.
Why are you looking at me like that?
No, it's just like, and you know, that's what I love is like, it was obviously difficult in the moment, but like Kim expressed that. And then I kind of, after I had literally, so I found the tickets, bought the tickets because they were like selling out quick. And then I found that Hilton was doing a 2-for-1 for points from transferring from AMX to Hilton. So for every 1,000 AMX points, it was 2,000 Hilton points. So I found a deal on Hilton, literally 0.3 of a mile from the stadium, beautiful hotel for 50,000 points. But we had already had 20,000 points on our just Hilton card. And so all I had to do was transfer like 40,000 points over from our AMX, and we had 2 free nights with our points. So I was like,
so we made the decision.
I did all of that, transferred the points, booked the hotels. And then I get in the car, and then Kim dropped that bomb on me.
Hold on. You can't just say I dropped the bomb, because there was a lead up to that. Because we had made the decision to go, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like I'm in, because regardless, like I knew it was going to be fun. Like we're going to go and eat and watch the game. It's going to be a good time. We're going to meet this other travel couple. Like I knew it was going to be fun. I was excited. I truly was excited. Like I wouldn't have even brought it up had I not had an inkling to like want to go even myself, right? Like, and so I was really excited. But then we get into the car, and again, then I started to kind of think, because I got a little bit triggered, because I was thinking like, you know, I feel, and we get into these roles a lot, like when you're working and I'm home, and you know, I take care of you and I do everything for you, and I feel like I plan things for you, and I'm thinking about you all the time. And so like, and we go through like bouts of it, vice versa, right? And I felt like, so I kind of felt like, wow, like I'm always like thinking of little things to do for you, or planning things for you, and making you feel special and thought of. And I feel like I'm not getting that in return. And so it made me feel, just in that moment, I felt a little triggered. And so when you got in the car, my expectation, I was like, I wanted you to get in and be like, wow, babe, like, thanks for even just, like, thinking this would be a cool idea. Thanks for going with me. Like, this is going to be fun. I appreciate it. I know this is, like, a football-focused weekend, but, like, it's so cool that you want to come with me. Thank you. Like, that's what I was expecting. And, like, that would have just been, like, okay, that would have felt good, right, to just acknowledge that. And you didn't, because we were talking about something else. right?
We had been talking about the game via text while I was still at work, like in between patients, like figuring all this stuff out. So it's like when I got in the car, I wanted to like sort out the details and see if this is something that you were still all good with. Like we hadn't talked in person. There was no voice-to-voice conversations about all of it. So it was like, I kind of wanted to even like, it felt like a weird thing that happened. And then it was like, I get in the car and like tomorrow we're leaving for Charlotte and like staying in a hotel and going to a football game and like meeting this travel couple and like all these things, just like the spontaneity of it was a little overwhelming in the way that you and I had not even spoke to each other about it except via text.
Right.
And so I wanted to clarify the details.
Right.
Before I actually got excited about it. And all you kept saying was like,
no.
Aren't I the wife of the year?
Did I say that?
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm like dropping clues to tell you to like give me some acknowledgement because that was important to me at the time. And I think too, it was just because like we had canceled our anniversary, or we didn't even plan anything. I guess we didn't cancel it. We canceled the Christmas thing. We were like, we're not going to do this. And those were two things that were like, I guess the anniversary wasn't. There was really nothing that was like really calling to us that we felt like to do. But the Christmas thing I was excited about.
Yeah, we went for it on the anniversary.
We tried, but we're like, why? Like, there's nothing that we're
forcing it.
Like, let's just hang out together. Mm-hmm. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And what was I saying? So I dropped that.
Well, the Christmas thing.
Yeah,
that was the.
Yeah, I don't know. I forget. I lost my train of thought. What was I just saying?
Well, you were just saying that you were dropping little hints. Because then you went.
Oh yeah, just like, wow, this is like awesome, blah blah blah, and like you didn't get the memo, and you just didn't say that, and so it like made me feel upset inside, and like I'm somebody who I don't always have the best timing with how I deliver or like how I go about it, but like I can't. It's really hard for me to hold things in. Like if I feel a certain way. Like, I'm somebody who just likes to get it out and, like, has to get it out. Like, I physically have to. I can't hold on to things. And that doesn't always bring for, like, the best timing, right? It's always like, okay.
Or delivery.
Right. Like, okay, you could totally have had this conversation, but, like, maybe planned for it a little differently and planned to go about it a little differently. So then I felt it coming and I, like, couldn't stop it. And I think I just mumbled something under my breath, like, a little acknowledgement would be nice. And you were like, what? And then I was like, it really,
no.
That's the first thing I said. And then you were like, and then I said, you could have.
I plan everything for you. It'd be nice for you to like think of me and plan. And I'm
like, it just came out like that. And you were like, what? How did we get here? Which, right, to your credit, like, how did we get here? We were just talking about going to Charlotte, and now I'm like, you never plan anything for me, and I don't feel special. Yeah. And you're like, what the fuck?
And I do everything for you.
I do everything for you. You do nothing for me. You don't plan things for me or make me feel
That's
special.
how it came out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, it didn't come out exactly.
That's exactly what you said.
Not in those words exactly.
Yes, it was. In the car.
It was along the lines. And so then you were upset. So again, it was like kind of putting a poo-poo on the whole thing. Because it's like, well, then why are we doing this if there's a poo-poo going on? Like,
yeah.
You know? Which I totally got, and I understood that. Because, again, we could have worked out the details and then had that separate conversation. Because that really was something that I was feeling. And I was trying to explain to you, too, like, both things can be true. I am really excited about Charlotte. And I'm excited to go have that experience with you. And I'm going to have fun. And this is going to be fun together. But also it triggered me. And these other feelings did come up that I wasn't really aware. Like they popped up and it was like, I started to kind of think about it a little bit. So it was something I wanted to address to you, like talk to you about. So like both things can be true. It's not that I don't want to go to Charlotte but it triggered this other thing and I wanted to talk to you about it. And I should have waited to talk to you about it at like a different time instead of putting a damper on that
initial moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we came home, we talked about that, and then for like an hour. But that's like, I think too, like you are someone who always is like, you used to always like think about things and plan things and like always go out of your way to like make me feel special. And while you do things that make me feel special, like I feel like there has been a lack there, and I like that, and I enjoy that, and like seeing that effort from both parties is important.
Well, I recognize that too, because I have dropped off the deep end with that.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
You know, I had to bring it back up to your attention.
So we basically moved past that. Well, which was good, because then it kind of opened the door, because I had and again, I think in our relationship, what I've noticed too is like, Kim's so quick, you're so quick to feel things and just say it. Whereas like I've been feeling it, but it just hasn't got there yet. Like to kind of, like I'll have a plan in my head, but like I don't say it out loud. And I just feel like, okay, I'll just get this done and it'll be cool. But like you're so quick to things and we're so connected that like you'll say it. And then I'm spending half the time being like, I had already thought of that. I was going to do that. I just didn't say anything. And then you're like, why didn't you say anything? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, instantly I was like, well, this will be cool because the game's at 7 or 8. So, like, they'll have, like, events and stuff. But we have, like, Friday night if we get there early. So I was going to plan, like, a cool dinner. And, like, because I know you like that in a new city. And, like, plan a cool place to go. And, like, we could get dressed up. We could go to the, do that. And then basically wake up on Saturday, go walk around, have a good lunch, which you love. And then go straight to the stadium and kind of like get into the festivities and things like that. So I thought it was perfect. So it was kind of a plus minus our normal weekend that we would do if we went to a new city, but we have a football game.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah. I mean, it ended up being a fantastic trip. Because after we talked about all that for like an hour, we were both exhausted.
Yeah.
I think I stormed in the room at one point.
You did. And then you came back out.
Okay, so then I came out and I apologized for the way that I had gone about that, but also that I still felt that way, but I apologized for the way that I handled it, kind of like unloading on you instead of whatever. So then I said, okay, I'm excited. I'm so excited. You're excited. Like, we're going. So let's just like put this to bed, like go to bed, and like, let's wake up tomorrow and just like have such a freaking good weekend. Like if we're going, I want to have a good time. And so we're like, all right, let's do it. And next morning we went to Charlotte, and it ended up being such a fun weekend. Like that's a really cool city. We've never been.
It is a cool city.
I was like really surprised because I felt like, and we talked about this, but like we stayed right downtown, and it was
uptown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was small. Like, it felt like a city. Like, you could walk places. There was a lot going on. There was restaurants. There was all this cool stuff. We could walk to the stadium. But it didn't feel, like, crazy chaotic, like a big city. Like, traffic-y. It was just, it felt more neighborhoody, but you were in the city. Mm-hmm. You know? No,
and I mean, the restaurant selection was good. It was, like, everything you could think of. And, like, we went to Optimus Hall, which was like really cool. Anything like food hall for Kim and I is like dreams. Because usually I can get whatever the hell I'm wanting, and she can get what she's wanting, and we could get multiple things and share it and like try a bunch of stuff. And we ended up going there twice. And one of the days I was standing next to Steve Smith, which is like Hall of Fame football legend in Carolina on ESPN and NFL Network, and he's just like standing there ordering, which by the way was like the best barbecue I've had in a very long time, whatever that place was called, Smoke Shack or Smoke and Stack or something. It was so good. We went there twice because it was so much. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm. That's like a pro tip. I feel like when you go to a city, always try to find like a food hall. Like I feel like there are these like cool things, and
it's negotiable. Like,
what?
Is it touristy?
I don't give a fuck if it's touristy. Like, no, like you think the Ponce Market's touristy? Like Optimus Hall, like is in the middle of nowhere. Like I feel like, I mean, it was like a walk there. It was like in a neighborhood. I look at it as
I guess like Timeout Market.
Even the other one, I'm not talking about Timeout Market, but even that, I agree. I think that's a great place to go. And I'm going to tell you why. And there was 2 places in Atlanta we loved, 2 food halls. Because...
Oh, yeah.
Remember
there was.
Yeah. Because what I love about it is that it's a lot of local restaurants that have a stall in the hall. And it's a great way, like it showcases a lot of the different restaurants in the city. And so not only do you get a lot of options, there's, Indian, Mediterranean, pizza, barbecue, dumplings,
Sushi.
Ramen. Yeah, like they have all different types of food. So you can like order a bunch of stuff or whatever, try a bunch of different stuff. But it's like they're always local restaurants.
Very
They're
true.
local chefs.
Very true.
And so I feel like it's a great way to get a lay of the land with the city of like different places that are food that's there. I don't think they're touristy at
Optimus
all.
Hall not only had all the normal foods, but it was local, like you said, local restaurants. They had the Cubano place that was doing like Cubano coffees and desserts, and then they had a grilled cheese place, and then a fried chicken sandwich place, and like all like
not
local.
Touristy.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
I mean, you're thinking of Portugal, and even that, like
that was local.
Yeah,
Michelin star chefs with
Yeah, I don't think I love food halls. Like, I feel like any city, like, try to find a food hall.
I agree,
think it's,
and
like,
usually
cool.
they have like a bar area too where you can get a drink and like
it's like such a move.
Yeah, it is.
So we basically just ate and ate and ate, and we got all of
204
our foodie cravings out. Yeah, we went to an amazing dinner Friday night
by accident.
Oh my God. This is what I love is like we were going, so we're on like Google. So again, this was last minute. And so we're trying to find like a cool place to go have dinner, and we're overwhelmed because we were craving so many different types of food because we have nothing here. So we're like, ooh, do you want sushi? Ooh, do you want tapas? Oh, do you want
Mediterranean?
Oh, there's so many choices.
Sushi.
Steakhouse, like a good kind of steaky, cool, that seafood vibe.
I cannot believe we almost ended up in Fleming's.
I know, like what a disgrace. But we were getting so well, we've been to Fleming's before too, and it was like awesome. But like that's not normally a place we always like to try somewhere like local, right? Like something that's different to that area. And so I like to read blogs. You know, you can look at Yelp, and I know you do that a lot. It's like good for reviews and stuff, but I always like to find like food blogs for that city, because then you're getting more of a local's interpretation instead of just like with the top picks on Yelp. And so I found a couple places. I think a couple places were like leaped over onto Yelp. And so
that's usually what we like to do. If you find a food blog and then I find it on Yelp, I'm like, okay, like this is legit, because I can read the reviews, kind of see those things and see if it is a local place, what kind of food they offer, what did people order, and then you read it on a food blog from a foodie person, then I'm like, okay, those converge.
Yeah. So we were like going back and forth and back and forth. What do we do? What do we do? Where to go? So we ended up at this one place because it seemed like it was a cool vibe. And so we walked there. We're like, okay, this is it. And we walked by Fleming's, and we were like, oh, it smelled so good. And like, honestly, that was like one of the best steaks I've ever had. And so we walked to this place, and it ended up being like a sports bar. And I'm like, that is not the vibe. We wanted like craft cocktails, like
which it said it was, and it said it was like in a swanky speakeasy kind of vibe, like basement, like what do you call it, gastropub.
It was
like
not
really good food on the menu. We called, they said they were full, they could get us in, all this kind of stuff, and like we walked by the window and it looked like a freaking Sneakers or a Buffalo Wild Wings. Like you're like, what is this?
This is
we were like, not the vibe.
Not it. So we're like, well, now we're starving too, and like
we're like, Fleming's it is.
Hanger, yeah. We're like, fuck this. But we walked by like a couple places on our way there that looked cool, and so on the way back we just stopped and peeked. It was called 204 Kitchen, and we looked at the menu, we looked at the vibe. We're like, this place looks good. It was like a local chef, and we were like, this place, it was tapas. It was it was small plates is with the overall vibe that we wanted. Craft cocktails, like dimly lit. Like it just felt like vibey, industrial. So we went in there and they sat us right away, and we had like the best meal. Like the best meal, the best vibe. And I'm like, this is exactly what we wanted. And we did not find that place on the Googles or in the blogs or anything. It was just because we walked by. And there it was, which is funny because you can research all you want, but a lot of times the best way is just get on your feet and go out and explore.
Dude, I swear that restaurant was not on Yelp.
Well, I
it
know,
was not on Google. Wasn't at least on the first 25.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and so I think that's important when you're traveling.
Those risotto balls.
to get out and like go like have your kind of go-to spots, but like also just pay attention when you're walking around. I always look at menus. I always like if they're on the window, always check out menus, always get like a lay in, because you do find a lot of places that, you know, you're not going to find on the internet. And so, but yeah, those risotto balls, they were mushroom risotto, truffle risotto, and oh my God.
Black truffle, homemade marinara.
We were both just sitting there like, it was the best meal we've had
2
in a long time. Yeah. It was calamari and just, so freaking good. We drank martini. Well, you drank Macallan, your new drink of choice, your new bougie ass
If anybody
drink.
wants to send me a bottle, it's Macallan only.
God, it's like an expensive scotch.
Well, we've been watching Suits, and like they always have Macallan.
Yeah.
And then like Macallan, I got the Macallan 12. I didn't get the 18. I really want to try the 18, but that's like a $400 bottle.
Maybe next year.
Yeah.
The goals, hashtag
yearly.
goals.
You buy me a yearly bottle of Macallan.
Okay. So yeah, and then we went to the game, and
well, don't even get me started.
yeah, it was so fun to be in that environment.
Doom, 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 doom.
Oh my God, the FSU game, like, or the band, they just play the same fucking shit over and over. Like, it literally will haunt you.
Actually, all right, be nice about this. Number one, the Marching Chiefs are famous because it is a psychological warfare, because they play that the war chant all the time, right? No matter what Florida State does, it's like tackle for a loss, war chant, like third down, war chant, like it's just constant. And opposing teams have said they can't stop hearing that song, and every time they hear it, they know that Florida State did something good, right? And so it just plays in their head. It's like a loud cheer at all times, and so, but it also keeps the crowd into it. And I really feel like that's a special thing that Florida State has within the college football realm.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs are like huge, like massive. And so the power, and you feel it, and it's just a cool environment.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that sound is like iconic, and like everyone knows it too. So it's like super cool, like for the teams and the fans, because like they always are playing it. As soon as you hear it, you get going. Like, so I get it, but it was to the point where I was like, I am going to be like haunted by this, just like in the middle of the night, just don't.
Yeah, we had the Louisville fans outnumbered, and I was literally laughing as hard as I could in the bathroom because, like, you know, you're lined up, there's tons of people, and, you know, there'd be like 2 Louisville fans in the bathroom, and they do their C-A-R-D-I, they're spelling out Cardinals, and then all of a sudden, like, Florida State fans look at each other, and then you would just hear this eruption of, oh, like, in their ear.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
like
it was just
way
constant,
cooler.
and then they would just, like, you could see it was just like, oh, crap, like, I started something. So I was, like, laughing. You couldn't go anywhere without, like, a whole group of fans just, like, it was cool. It was cool.
No, they do. It is a cool thing for the fans. I feel like it just, like, unites the fans. Like, I don't think a lot of, like, sports teams have that, like, unison. You can hear it anywhere, and like you just start doing it, you know. So it was cool. The game was like so boring. Like,
yeah, it was rough.
Wait, let me preface, because it was so cool to be there, right? Like, just in the energy, in the vibe, the good seats, just like the crowd, like the energy was good. The game itself was so slow. Nobody was
painful.
scoring points. I was just like, can we get some action?
I know, you're like punching me in the game, and I'm like, babe, it's a defensive game.
I know.
Like, we have a third string quarterback. He's a freshman in an ACC championship. He's never started a game before. And it's like our defense came out and played like stellar.
I know, but I wanted to like a Hail Mary, like a throw like 100 yards for the, you know, like I wanted some action. I wanted some like, wow, you know, there was nothing. I don't even think somebody caught a pass.
Barely.
Like nobody even caught the
We
ball.
had 54 passing yards.
Yeah, I'm like, this is freaking snooze fest over here. You know, like what the heck?
That's why I just kept you drinking.
Yeah, so then we just bought $30 cocktails the whole time. I mean, it was insanity. They were doubles. But,
We had doubles, and the bar was right behind our seats.
oh, so trouble. So you could just like go easily get one, like run out, come back. You know, you didn't really miss much.
Grab me one.
Yeah, that was, oh my gosh, we probably spent like $500. Just
Easily.
Like, oh my God, that's so disgusting.
Yeah.
Actually, I only had 2 drinks there.
Yeah.
But
No, you didn't.
2 doubles.
No.
Yeah.
You had 4.
No, I did not. I absolutely did not. I think I had 2.
No,
maybe
it was definitely 3.
Maybe 3. Maybe 3. Definitely not 4. I would
Because
have
when
been
we met
lights
Kayla
out.
and Brandon, I got you another one.
Oh. Okay. Well, it's a
It's
little
neither
boring.
here nor
You know,
there.
it doesn't matter. But yeah, they ended up winning, and you know, it was raining. It's midnight. They win. It's like everyone's excited. Like the crowd goes crazy. We're like, yeah, like it was such like a vibe, and because that was the game that would put them into the playoffs, maybe, right? That's what the hope was. That was what the thought was.
It was guaranteed. You win, you're in.
Yeah. So, spoiler, they didn't get in, and that's like a whole nother topic. Let's wrap this up. We don't need to get into like a football conversation.
I know. It's just very sad. Florida State fan or not, I don't care if it's a team that I don't even root for. It's unfair.
Yeah. No, I know. I agree.
And it's bullshit. It's college football. Like, these are kids. They're amateurs. Yes, they get paid with their NILs now. But, like, they're amateurs, right? And they should get an opportunity. If you're a Power 5, undefeated, you should get an opportunity.
Yep.
It shouldn't be about money, shouldn't be about fans, and it shouldn't be about a spectacle. It should be about the game of football.
I agree.
Right?
I think
and if we get blown out, we get blown out. But we deserved a chance to be there. Anyway,
I 100% agree. It was really, 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 really disappointing.
Yeah.
And just a terrible call.
Just
and I
sad
think there's
for the...
so much upset around it. And yeah, I definitely feel...
sad for the players.
I know.
And the coaching staff. To go 13-0 in a Power 5 conference, I don't care if you think the ACC sucks.
Okay, we're not going to get into a whole football thing. Like,
I told you. It's like,
I'm starving. Got to cook dinner. This was fun. Great weekend away. We'll see you later.
wow. That's just how we're ending it.
I mean, what else? I'm so hungry. What else do you want to say? That was the weekend. That was it.
You know what I'll say?
It was so fun. And then we drove home the next day.
I ain't doing shit this weekend.
Oh, I know, but you're really not.
Literally laying on the couch from Friday to Sunday.
I know. I'm going home to Florida, so Aaron will have the house to himself.
Oh, buddy.
Living your dream.
Yep.
Nobody bothering you.
Just eating burgers.
Okay. Not eating burgers.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're not. I'm making something special for you.
Oh no! What are you making?
Why'd you say oh no?
Are you gonna make me a soup?
Yeah, I'm going to make you a big old thing of vegetable soup.
No soup,
Yes.
buddy. I don't want soup.
Vegetable soup and salad for you all weekend.
I want soup. Mm-hmm. Okay. There'll be a lot left over for you when you get home.
I actually made a lentil soup today. It's delicious, and I plan on eating it tomorrow.
Awesome.
Okay,
All right.
let's wrap this up because I'm hungry.
Wow. Apologize to everybody for their ears.
Okay, bye. We'll see you guys later.
See you next week. And get on the Patagonia trip. Let's go.
Yes, let's go.
Bye.